It's day 8 of designing a Pokopia island in 30 days, where yesterday we finished up a massive infrastructure project, providing enough power to power this city and probably all the other ones I make, to be honest. We'll see if I eat those words. I'm fairly confident that this is enough. And we ran out of supplies. This wall represents what could have been. We completely ran out of stone, we're just about out of iron, and a lot of other important materials, so we're starting today off, like a lot of other days, by going to a dream island, and we're gonna try and stockpile some stuff, hopefully for a while, because we've only executed on one building so far, and we're almost 10 days into this challenge. But I'm starting today by looking at the shop and seeing that there's one new recipe in here for half the money I have to my name. I'm gonna buy it, but I am short on funds. I'm hoping that the Dream Island will have us stumble into some of the other challenges here, so that maybe we can get some money back by the end of this. Gathering up this stuff would be easy, but we're not going to an island that really specializes in these materials. Taking a picture is no problem. 100 coins, please. There we go. Easy. Ooh, and we have, I believe, Trubbish's evolution. Garbodor. No. This is coughing. Okay, I'll take a coughing. That's fine. What's really cute about this is the Pokemon way in the distance noticed coughing come out and they got really excited. So we just have wheezing now. And I guess Garbodor I have in my single player. I don't remember finding Garbodor here. Oh, another thing we did yesterday was put down more plots for evolutions. And look at this. I think they're all here. Some of these Pokemon I don't even have in single player yet, so this is pretty big. I am so happy. Drop your favorite evolution in the comments below. I don't know. If I had to pick, Glaceon is really cool looking. I might say Glaceon, but they're all pretty awesome. I think Shiny Sylveon is really cool looking. Sylveon's just awesome in general, but I got a Shiny Sylveon, and that was very exciting too. In I believe it was probably Scarlet or Violet is where that happened. All right, I also had some paint, I think. That's why Geodude's excited. Ooh, and I think I'm getting a special paint too. Let's see. Yes, he gave me 50 bowls of white paint, which I really, really needed. And that was from giving Geodude some Lepa berries. So we got red paint as well. And then we just got some yellow paint here. So you know they're about to give you a special paint when they don't tell you what they made. They'll come up to you and be like, hey, I have this for you. And it's not specific what color they're giving you. That's how you know you're getting a black or white paint. And then we have another Pokemon. Oh my gosh, wait, there's so much happening. These are the rest of my Tinkagears. But then we have, I believe, Tinkatink spawning here. I absolutely love how they pop out of the tires. I think that's so funny. Yep, it's Tinkatink. Now, I'm very curious to see if Tinkatink can either make gears or use the engineering specialty. Okay, Tinkatink can build, but does not have engineering. I don't have any iron on me at the moment to test the gears, though. I'm gonna go grab some. Yeah, I only have 8 ingots, so I'm just grabbing one piece. We're gonna try it, and then we're heading off to our dream island. All right, what can you do? What's that? Is it a present for me? No, make me some Tinkagears. Sorry, I don't know how to do anything with iron ingots. Okay. I got really excited when I saw that prompt. You don't get to keep the iron. Sorry, I kind of need it. Otherwise, I would just give it away. We're going to an Arcanine Island. This is where you get gold and iron a lot of the times. There's also a good amount of stone in my experience on these islands. And, I mean, anything else I can get here, obviously, I'll take. But this is going to be what we need today. Let's check for rare Pokemon, and then I need to try and get through this as quick as I can, because I feel like so far this entire series, nope, no rares, has just been me going to these islands and complaining about not having enough materials. So I need to do other stuff. I need buildings done, and these episodes are already, you know, sometimes a decent length. So I'm going to go ahead and just blaze through this real quick. If anything really noteworthy happens, I'll bring you along for it. I see like a cathedral thing there, so I'm gonna get some extra items from that. Blah, blah, blah. You know how it works. Okay, I did want to share one trick I just learned. I thought I would just try this to see if it would work. And indeed, you can get stuff at the bottom of the ocean floor if you just suck up water and then walk. It's kind of slow, but it's not as bad as drowning over and over again trying to collect stone. I would say there's not enough here to make this like a regular part of my strategy, but right in this spot there happen to be a few rocks, and I just wanted to test this out. I guess that boulder over there, how am I supposed to get that with this going on? Normally in Magnet Rise form, I would just kind of dip down and grab it real quick, but let's see, can I just quickly swap over to punching? Oh yeah, the water stays gone. So I've been like actively destroying the ocean, parting the sea here. Cool, that worked. But yeah, you can also just kind of do this, and as long as you're out fast enough, it's not a big deal. Okay, it's been a while, and in terms of my progress, this is what I'm looking at for iron and gold. I'm definitely prioritizing iron, but I wanted to explain real quick my strategy for getting all of this done. I went on the beach and I dug 7 blocks down, and that's kind of where I popped out. You can kind of see it up there. And I quickly found rock. So I decided to dig in the rock, and then I cleared a bunch of area, and then I went down 2 blocks into graveler form and cleared a bunch of area again, and that's why the ceiling is so high. I kept doing that. And this seems to kind of be the best way to find stuff right now. I wanted to just see if I could find anything like by the beach, because it's kind of how it works for Pokemetal. And it's not quite the same, but it looks like going this far down on the map offers a lot of stuff, gold and iron alike, just really readily available. And the deeper I go, I don't know, the more I seem to find, which is really good. So I'm probably going to do this from now on to find all of my iron and gold, just not even worry about the caves or anything, and just dig down a little bit and then start smashing rocks. And it does take a lot of food, and it's not super efficient, but this feels more efficient than just kind of like going in caves and dealing with all that really rugged terrain where I'm like, you know, on one level and then I drop down one and graveler form is like destroying a bunch of stuff I didn't mean to destroy. This just feels more intentional, and I'm getting through it. This is good. Anyway, stack and a half of stone, 4+ stacks of iron, just over a stack of gold. I'd say that's a pretty good haul, and maybe we'll come back. I would say by far the toughest part of this challenge is twofold. It is, number one, not having enough supplies. I have so many things I want to do, and I'm just constantly out of supplies. And then number two, of course, is going to be having ideas. We have one building, and there's so many different shapes a building can be, but it's just difficult to think off the dome of like what kind of little building you want to make. So I think what I'm going to do while they're burning up some iron is look up some inspiration and try to come up with something for one of these larger plots. Making these plots so big was kind of a cool idea in concept, but in practice, I'm terrified. This is so much space, and I can't keep building big boxes everywhere. It's going to look so boring. So I'm going to try and find a design that's a bit unique that could fit into a space like this. And I don't know, we'll just see what my interpretation of that would be. Well, you would be surprised where inspiration comes from, because I found this Simple Buildings Cartoon City environment pack that you can buy for, I assume, a video game on an asset store. And you know what? This is just what I needed. The shapes of these buildings themselves, nothing really special, but they are good reminders as to different types of buildings I could put in a city. And I really like the museum on the top right there, that yellow building. I already know what these buildings kind of typically look like. When you think about like a museum, you imagine the tall pillars and stuff, but I don't know, just seeing it kind of helps me conceptualize a bit more, and it makes me excited to give it a try. So my plan is to actually have the museum facing me right now. So it would be looking out this way in the direction of the Pokemon Center. We would kind of have like a front area that's just some grass. So not too much, but just a little bit so we can decorate a bit. And museums, just in my mind, are usually rectangular, not quite square like my building back there. So the back of the museum is going to face my house, and the front is going to face the Pokemon Center, and I think it'll look pretty cool. However, if this is supposed to be like Main Street here, I guess there's an argument to be made to have the museum facing the main street. I don't know, I could really go either way. Maybe I'll have it face this way. The other reason a museum is kind of perfect right now is because I can use walls like these light antique walls, and I have a bunch of gold and lumber right now, and I can use a little bit of stone. I'm going to use these stone pillars, but also I can use marble. And marble is just straight up limestone, which I have a ton of. We'll be using foundations again, and this time I'm going to paint them white on top. And of course, that's to go with the big white marble building. And I'll be using these foundations to plan the overall layout of the building. And before I start bringing up the walls and everything, I'm actually going to try putting these pillars down just to see how they feel. Like, are they far enough apart? Does the entrance feel grand? Should I make it larger? Indeed, I think I should have it come out by 1 block all the way around. Yeah, that to me feels a little more grand and expensive. That's what we want this to look like. We want it to look like a big, expensive building. I think what I'd like to do is use the foundations as the floor for this kind of like outside part. I'll call it the porch for now, for lack of a better word. But yeah, I'll need to make like a couple more and put them there. But yeah, that would be the end of using foundations. Then we'll switch to a regular floor in the middle, probably marble and or some kind of fancy carpet. You'll also notice I didn't go all the way out to the edge here. But I think in this case, it might have been a mistake. I may actually extend the building a little bit more, because as I'm just kind of standing in this grass spot, it just doesn't feel like enough room to display all my fossils that I want to display. That's what the museum's going to do. It's going to be for the fossil Pokemon to at least get them to spawn in. And that's just not a lot of room. This is a pretty big plot, but yeah, I think I do need the full area. The reason I left myself less room with this build was because I just think it's, again, gonna look too uniform to have every single building take up exactly the perfect amount of space within each plot, if that makes sense. Having it come out to only a certain amount gives me a little bit of grass to play with, and maybe I can plant like a couple trees in the back or something like that. And I do think that's a good thing to think about for future builds, but with this one, because the fossil displays are so large and I'm gonna want room to decorate on top of that, it just makes more sense to use up as much space as I can possibly get my hands on. Good news though, with expanding the building and everything else, I actually ended up making the perfect amount of foundations, so nice. It's always a little bit annoying to have blocks on your person that have been painted different colors because they take up a lot of space. So next we're gonna go with these pillars. And I'm going to be putting them just on each corner. These pillars are made of blocks, and they're just kind of called pillar. They make for really good corner pieces on big builds like this. In terms of height for this museum, I'm thinking this is probably pretty appropriate, where it's going to gain a little bit of height too, because I'm going to have to put a roof of some kind on it. But this is kind of what I'm thinking. And now it's just a matter of designing the walls and figuring out where our big windows are going to go. And now I've gone ahead and framed the museum, and it still looks, like a big boring rectangle, but I've been trying to think about things I can do to add a bit of flair to it. How can I make this rectangle look a little bit less, I don't know, boring? So I have a couple of ideas just based on some really fancy looking Minecraft museums I pulled up in the background here. A lot of them have like the ability to do really intricate things because Minecraft has blocks that Pokopia just doesn't have, but Pokopia has things that Minecraft doesn't have. So for example, one of my favorite items is the protruding wall. And a lot of these museums have little bits of flair like this throughout. And because we're probably not going to be doing a very big like roof or anything, it's probably also going to be kind of flat. I thought this might be a really good opportunity to dye some protruding walls completely white and use them to add those touches of museum-y flair to the sides of the building. So I might have to make the museum maybe one block taller to get the dimensions I want, but this is looking pretty good. And then we have these doors here. Now these doors are from the Rocky Ridge Museum. That's the first time I saw them. And they happen to be 2 blocks wide, but if we put 2 next to each other, we can get a pretty grand entrance out of these, I think. So if I do something like this, I mean, look at that. I'm gonna have to, change the frame, but I think that's pretty cool. Given their height though, I might need to make the museum a few blocks taller so that I can leave room for the protruding walls still and have... I kind of want some taller windows. Then again, I found this window here. Now, this window is kind of cool. I've never used it before, but it feels like a museum window based on a lot of the builds I've been looking at. So actually, if I do keep the window portion only 2 blocks high, it gives me the ability to use a lot of these windows. And I think that'll look kind of cool. The fact of the matter is, if I was making this museum maybe 2 or 3x the size of it currently, I could do even more detailed things. But because I'm trying to fit a museum in the middle of a relatively small city, I have to kind of make some sacrifices. So I think maybe it is actually the perfect size for these windows that I made. And I like that. So I'm going to dye the doors. I'm going to try seeing what these look like in white. And then I guess we'll kind of finish the walls. First, I went out looking for some honey, though, because I completely ran out. First time it's ever happened. I just have been using it a lot. I need to find Smeargle to paint some stuff. And I have some sparkly stuff in the water here. So, I mean, at least I get this. I think maybe I can find Smeargle by using the search function, too. Ugh, Bulbasaur wants something. What is it? You got me a present? Okay, let me guess. A turd? Bulbasaur probably would give me a turd. No, 5 bags of cute flowers. Okay, well, I'm sorry I doubted you. Ah, okay, they're over here. Good. I'm kind of wondering if I should have them follow me. They literally, like, pointed me in the direction when I asked where they were. I guess when you have a flying Pokemon and you don't have, honey, it gets kind of difficult to find people. Let's see. Let me try white. Ooh, okay, the white and the gold work kind of nice. Yeah, let's do this. If we put them side by side like this, the handles will turn in so they're facing the center, and boom, the doors open and close together, which is, if you didn't know that, that's how you have to do that. You have to make sure you don't rotate the doors. All right, so now for the windows. So here's what I'm thinking. We make this real simple. We put marble pillars between each segment, and then we slap a window in each spot, just like that. And I think that'll look like a museum, or or a very boring government building. I'm not really sure. Focusing purely on the front of the building right now, this is what it looks like with the windows in, and there's this big hole in the top because it doesn't quite line up perfectly. So I thought what I could do is take some of the stained glass that I stole from previous builds or previous Dream Islands and maybe use that over here. Of course, it's an even number, so they look, you know, I don't know, okay. I suppose if you do something like that and then maybe use these on the outside, it looks like something. I gotta be honest though, I'm just not super into it. The other option is to do something like that. And honestly, yeah, I think that's fine. However, the more I've been looking at this building, the more I've been bothered by just how the same everything looks. And I wanted to try it again with maybe black doors, but also what if we painted the windows with some black in them too? Just wanted to see if that would like class up the place a little bit. And I don't think I like it. I'm gonna go back to all white and I'm gonna trust the process. I'm gonna trust that the building will look better once I have it complete. I just finished framing the top half of the building, only to realize that indeed I do want to make it 1 block taller for a few reasons. I want it to be more consistent with the bottom half. I forgot that there was a whole layer of marble right here that I didn't account for here. And I also want to make sure that the roof has a little bit of extra space because I'm probably going to want to put like some air conditioners and stuff up there. And that would mean that I want to have like an area that's a bit sunken down. Like I would like the roof to be at this layer right here. You'd be standing here, and then I could fit some stuff on top. So that's a pretty significant change with this build. But in order to get what I want, I'd have to actually make it 2 blocks taller, and I don't think I need to do that. Actually, what I think I need to do is take this block and move it here. So the windows would remain at the same height where I had them, but I would have an extra layer on top to play with for the kind of roof that I want. So instead, it would look like this, and I think this is a bit more consistent with what I was going for. There we go. It even looks a little more grand now. Throw those windows in and you have a museum. Well, once I get all the other walls done. That is all of the outside walls on the main structure of the museum done. Now all that's left is the ceiling and the floor, and then of course the decorations, which we're definitely not gonna have time for today. But most of the decorations are gonna be in the form of fossils. Fossils which I have not yet collected. For the roof, I'm going with the same stone I typically use on the tops of these city buildings because that's what the game uses with their city buildings, and I think it's pretty inoffensive and it serves its purpose. As for the flooring, that's when things get a bit interesting because I have a couple different options here. I went ahead and grabbed this light marble tile, which I do think looks pretty nice. I think it fits the vibe of a museum in a pretty decent way. The only problem with it is, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of dark. I also have the extravagant carpet, which I believe does that. Yes, it turns into this really cool carpet with a gold border around it. Now that I definitely want to use. And both of them are paintable. So before I go any further, I just wanted to take these to Smeargle and see what they look like in white. If we're just really like going to commit to the marble white museum, I don't know. I just want to see what they look like. So with this marble, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell unless you get a whole bunch of them down together, but it, you know, it kind of looks how I expected it to. And I think I'm tempted to go for it, but before I do, let me just see what the carpet looks like in white. Oh, interesting. It has like a lot of pink in it. Okay, well that's kind of neat. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is use this light marble flooring in white, which, wow, still gonna have white paint left over somehow after all of this. And then I'm gonna keep the carpet red, and that'll be where we get our color from. Honestly, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna have this around the entire border of the museum, and then we'll just separate out some areas and put red carpet. So this was my thought for creating little sections of where we could put the fossils. So each of these is not really mathematically sound. I'm not imagining certain fossils in certain areas. What I'm imagining is just being able to display, hopefully, all of them, and it would be on these like red carpet kind of areas. So, oops, I need some more. This is kind of what we're working with right now, and I think this works okay. Of course, one of the fossils can hang from the ceiling because it's Aerodactyl, but everyone else, I don't know. Maybe we can fit them on the ground? I guess we could test it out with the one fossil Pokemon that we have already. And I guess you can kind of imagine putting like the little pedestals in the middle of these carpets. And also imagine you have no space. I don't know. I guess I could throw this one here for now. And we'll just throw the sail fossil on top. I'm actually going to move you into this. I might go ahead and bring the carpet out to the wall in the future. I don't know. Let's just start by like putting fossils in here as time goes on, and I'll make adjustments as needed. Okay, I'm still not done. I still need to do stairs and an entrance with a little roof on it, and there's also no lighting in here. So for the front area, I actually found another type of pillar in my crafting log. I'm able to craft round pillars, and I think they'll fit on the edges here a lot better. So let's see. Yeah. Okay, that's a bit better. I do like these, and they are more marbly than the ones we were just using. So I think this will be a good alternative pillar for us. Let's get rid of those. And we will throw these on top of them, of course. Put the little pillar tops on them, and let's just stand back for a second and see how they look. Yeah, I think that's fine. Of course, you remember I said I still had paint? Well, I did run out. I grabbed some stairs, and they're just concrete steps, because I thought those would look, I don't know, in white, the most marbly. And I completely ran out of paint, of course. So I'll have to wait for more white paint to kind of finish those. But they'll go around probably the entire bottom area, at least on the front. And now I have to decide how I want this part of the roof to look. Actually, let's imagine for a second that this protruding wall is on top of the pillars rather than on top of the actual museum itself. So we'll kind of pull these out here. And I haven't built like this before. I know it seems kind of simple enough, but just feel like this is the kind of build where you could end up making a mistake stylistically, and it won't it won't look quite the same. And then I guess the protruding wall could come over like this. I really do wish these would connect into a corner, but they don't. And it's okay. We can still work with it. But it could do that. And then I could just fill in the bottom with marble, I guess. So from this inside area, I could pop a marble block there and there just to kind of close off the corners. And then, I suppose, just come through here and throw some marble maybe right underneath these? Huh. Yeah, that looks kind of terrible. I guess what you would have to do is not have the indented roof. That's what I'll call this, where there's like a block above the roof block. You would just kind of fill the marble part in flush with the ceiling blocks or the protruding walls that we put. So we would just do this. And we put marble across the back like this. And it looks okay from this angle. And then if you're down here, that looks a lot nicer. That's nice and flush with everything. And the corners don't even look too shabby. Real quick, let me try to take these protruding walls and just turn them like this. I just want to see if I like that better. What do we think of that? You know what? I actually kind of like that better. I think that adds a little more visual flair, especially from down here. You know what? Yeah, we're going to keep it that way. Well, look at that. Other than stairs being, dyed white and stuff, we're just about done. We got to do lighting next. And I have a small collection of lights I wanted to try playing around with. First is the spotlight, which is actually kind of unique because not only does it sit on the floor, but I believe it also can attach to a wall. Am I right about that? No. I'm actually thinking of these lights. These lights can sit on the floor, a ceiling, crud. Okay, I thought these could maybe point up at the roof or something, but that's not a thing. That's no problem. We can put them behind these pillars at least. And, at night, I think having a couple lights glowing like that should look pretty good. What's really cool about this chandelier is that even though the building is an even number, the chandelier centers on these blocks, which is awesome. I'm going to use this inside, though. I'm gonna save the fancy lights for indoors. But, yeah, didn't know it would do that. Very excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and put a light behind all the pillars on both the top and the bottom, and I think I'll get that kind of nighttime glow that I was looking for. To make our chains, though, to hang the lights down from the ceiling, I will need iron, and this is how far we got in, I'm not kidding, 2.5 hours. Well, I think half hour was spent probably at the island, but I've been recording for 2.5 hours, and the iron, got about halfway there, so not bad. So let's see, this chain can, funny enough, this chain cannot center in between these blocks like the chandeliers can. The chandeliers will just go right there, no problem. But the chains can't. So I guess we're just kind of stuck doing it this way. I think it'll still look kind of cool, though, having those up there. So, no complaints. All that's left is to add my wireless transmitters. And I just wanted to see from inside my place. And It's so cool to have like a building out there. One of my favorite things to do with these city builds is fly around in magnified form and just look inside the windows of the buildings. I know that sounds really creepy, but I mean, if you decorate the insides of your building with like chairs and tables and plants and stuff, and then you just kind of float around on the outside and look, I don't know. It's just something about the way the lighting is done in this game. It just looks so cool. All right, what we're going to want to do is bury a transmitter right here. It'll reach all of these lights, and it's going to help us start to get power inside the museum too. And already these lights back here look so cool. All right, let's go in here. And I think the transmitter will reach, yep, it'll reach from there. And we can put it maybe right here on this wall, this section. I'm going to bury it underground, and then I'm going to hope really hard that I can plop one on the roof and those two transmitters will connect. If not, it means I have to have a transmitter exposed on the outside of the museum, which isn't a big deal, but to me it's a big deal. I don't want that. All right, so we're trying to put it basically right here, or maybe it was here, and it is not powered. That means it is not reaching the one underground. So then the question is, if I were to put it right here above ground and have it connect like that, would it then reach the one on the roof like this? And no, so I can't cleverly hide it in the foundation and then put a shrub in front of it like I was going to. Of course, there is always the option of putting one on top of my house and then having it maybe reach the roof of this building here. Look at that. Okay, that's problem solving. It will reach all the way across the roof too. And what? I need more electricity. How's that possible? Oh, you know what? I'm drawing power from my original generator still. I haven't hooked it up to the water wheels yet. At least I hope that's the problem. I think in order for the transmitter to reach from the water wheels over to here, I just need to put something in the ground over here. And I could probably go all the way out into this plot and bury it over here, and that'll keep it from popping out of the ceiling in the sewer, and it'll also connect to everything, I hope. I gotta be honest, I've tried playing with a lot of transmitters, and nothing's working. I may literally not have enough power with those 4 water wheels. It could be due to a lot of things. It could be the mechanics of the game. It could just be the way my transmitters are connected at the moment. But the easiest way out of this is to just craft more generators as needed. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted one central, like, power core kind of area. The game's power mechanics, though, are a bit odd. So it could be a few different things, I suppose. And I'll try to remember to look this up before tomorrow. But that's what I'm dealing with right now. I basically need to come up here and decide where do I want a generator. And I'm going to put it up here because I have more stuff on this roof right now. We'll just pop it there. And that turns on all the lights. The lights up here are on now. The chandelier should be on. Yep. So museum looks fantastic. Very happy with that. Kind of disappointed in the power distribution system of this game. Oh my gosh, the marble lit up like that looks so good. This is fantastic.
No, 50 Pokebucks.
Sorry.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I was just finishing up a different call.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that's how Discord worked.
That's how it works.
How are you doing? I had a question for you.
Oh yeah, sure. What's up? I can answer it.
All right, so in about like a few weeks or so, I'm doing this big Pokopia island, and I was just trying to find some different YouTubers who might be interested in like maybe touring it when it's all done, and I wanted to know if maybe you'd be interested.
Interested? Yeah, I heard like down the grapevine about something about this. I don't know. What kind of things are you offering on the island?
Offering? Like Animal Crossing island tours would be kind of like that. I'm not like...
Oh, I know those.
Yeah, it's not like a Renaissance fair or something.
There's just so many other cloud islands. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just like the abundance of islands that you could go, like I could go to during any time. It's a maybe, like a really solid maybe from me. Like I've seen your other work so far. It's good. It's really good.
Right.
I was scrolling through other like sources and seeing what they were doing though. And
so you don't think I'll do a good job?
No, I think you'll do a fine job. Like a solid job is something you'll do. Like the timing of everything. You know what I mean? And like
you're really busy like 3 weeks from now?
No, I'm not like busy. I'll be like free.
Oh.
But like What time is it that you wanted?
We haven't scheduled it yet. I mean, you could.
Oh, no, that was yeah. I'm gonna be busy during that time.
All right.
No, wait. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I just got a lot on my mind. You know what I mean?
Okay, so is that a yes?
No, it's a definite like possibility that I'll be there in some capacity.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right, see ya.
But this has been a very, very long day, so I am going to call it there. And tomorrow, we'll start yet another project. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow's episode's on screen now. If you're ready to watch it, go ahead. I'll see you over there.